Okay.
Dude,
I'm
what
good.
the fuck? I can't believe you just did that. I literally clicked
Well,
the button. I clicked the button and you went, okay. Okay, whatever.
I'm sorry.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mediak. And more importantly, welcome back to Superhero Summer, where once a year we're going to be going through a bunch of superhero movies and watching the trilogy, specifically of the Marvel movies, and seeing how they compare and work together. And this is a big one because this is a very interesting third movie in a series, so I'm excited to talk about that. And as usual, stay tuned to after the podcast to hear a bunch of media news. And then after that, we'll be talking about other stuff that we watched since we last recorded. Chandler's going to have a little bit extra to tell us. But I just have one question real quick. Chandler, did you watch last week's episode?
I did watch the
You
winners.
did?
Oh, no, not the episode. Not the episode.
You didn't listen to the episode?
Not the episode.
Okay.
No, but I have it saved.
Okay.
So I will watch it.
Okay.
But
cool.
I do not know your opinion just yet.
Okay.
Why?
Well, no, I just was wondering. Can you please go ahead and describe the Winter Soldier? Hey, okay. We all know, we've read the thumbnail. I mean, we've looked at the thumbnail. We've read the title. We know that this is Civil War. For those of you who did not watch last week, Chandler was not here. The one of our co-hosts was missing. And we are specifically comparing these movies as they are in their series, pretending that only the Captain America movies came out. So 1, 2, 3, that's the only thing we're reviewing. So Chandler, please give us your really quick review of Captain America the Winter Soldier. How does it work as a Captain America sequel? And give us a number,
So
too, obviously.
I think the movie works very well. It directly follows him kind of like waking up in New York. I mean, I know there's some time and Avengers had transpired, but the point is he's still recovering from the decades that he's been, in slumber for, and that's apparent with the Falcon guy, Anthony Mackie. They have some discussions about that, about how he's coming to with society and internet. But I thought that it followed really well, especially with the Winter Soldier. It picks up right after Bucky dies, and they don't waste any time with that. I think it's a better sequel than actually probably any, except for Guardians of the Galaxy. Man, that might be a tricky one, but I think that this one's probably the best in Marvel, the best follow-up. If I had to say. Is this homework because you don't think I watched the movie?
No.
No. We did this.
No. Yeah, we needed...
Very interesting opinion.
We need to hear your opinion of the last movie so that we can properly get a grasp of how you feel about this trilogy.
It's a top... The Winter Soldier's a top 5 for me.
Top 5 movie in general or top 5 comic movie?
Of the Marvel movies.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely top 5. But I don't know about top 3. There's a couple, like Iron Man, of course, would come to mind. But like this is just, it's a peak movie, and my number is a 9. I just don't see how it could be any lower. I actually wanted it to be higher. I wanted it to be higher, and I wrote nothing, like in all the notes I had, nothing negative, not a single line, and I couldn't even recall anything after the movie. But it probably, I think there's a couple. Huh?
I didn't say anything. There's echo on you.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I'm just messing with my hair. Sorry.
There might have been some things I don't remember, or I didn't care for. Like maybe like a little...
I had negatives to say about it.
You did?
Yeah, but that's last week.
So I can wait for them. Can you give me the biggest negative? Because I'm curious.
I thought the cinematography was pretty poor in the movie for the most part.
Okay.
That was probably my biggest negative in the movie. However, that's not my only negative I had with the movie. However, that's last week. We should...
Yes. I'll catch up on those, dude. But that's my take. I think the movie's kind of peak in terms of Marvel.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna not say anything there. Skylar, you haven't really talked a whole lot this podcast. Do you want to give the breakdown of this movie, or does Chandler? We haven't.
No, I can. I just want to start off by saying it's weird how different our views were.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean,
last movie. Me and Zach agreed, so we assumed you were going to be on the same boat, and it seems like you're in a little bit of a different direction.
Oh, so that's why you're saying I have an opinion.
We looked at each other, and whenever you said you didn't write down anything, I was like, whoa, you didn't write down anything? You didn't have any negatives at all? Damn. Must have been on his phone.
I was watching it on my phone because it's the only way I could.
I get it. That's funny. That's a good way to twist
Alright.
that.
But back into Civil War. So,
Yeah.
in this movie, essentially, there's a big problem, and it's that the Avengers essentially have like no like
Wait, who
power
are the
check.
Avengers, Skylar?
I don't know. I only know Captain America
Yeah, who can
and
you
Black
give us
Widow.
an explanation of what how does the movie
There's
explain
this
the Avengers?
one. There's this one Stark who you find out is Howard's son, and his name is Tony. Um, and he went to MIT, so comes off as this. Obviously, he has the Stark money that is shown in the movie, and you later and he gives out money to MIT. So you're shown that he's money and he cares about technological advances.
He's a rich guy. I shouldn't have asked
Yeah.
this question. I'm having you go too in depth now. Just I understand that the movie is long and there's a shit ton of stuff to go through, but
Yeah.
give me 3
So
sentences.
Tony Stark is
Thank-
rich, and you find out he has a suit that kind of works as a armor kit with flying. We get this cool kid from Queens who shoots webs. He's pretty cool.
That's
the
the-
Spider Boy, I think.
Spider
We have a
This is your
we
final
had a
sentence of the
Prince
review.
Maui King of Wakanda who showed up. I don't know where that is. And then we have
This is over 3
a
sentences.
girl who has magic. They called her Scarlet Witch. And there's a guy with a stone in his head. Vision. They seem to be related or something of the sorts. They live together. But he like phases through people. That was pretty weird. And then we had Hawkeye.
Hot guy?
I think that, yeah,
There was
either
a hot guy in
or
the movie?
Hawkeye.
There
Yeah, I
definitely
don't
were a
know.
couple, if we're being
He just said
honest
he
here.
golfs and he played 18 and shot 18. He can't seem to miss. And I was like, oh, that's kind of tough. So I'm assuming he's pretty good aim.
Yeah, probably.
We have a guy who goes really big to really small. I don't know what I don't know his name. And then
That's it. We have another suit guy.
I know I'm trying to think. There's another
Another suit
Tony
guy.
Stark type. They called him Rhodey.
Rhodey.
Yeah, that was not good. We still got Sam. You know, he's
The
still
homie,
there.
yeah.
We still got Black Widow. He's still there. Captain America's still there. He makes out with Peggy's great.
Yeah, that's a
That was weird.
thing that
That's
happens
weird.
in this movie objectively.
Yeah, and then we got. Oh, who else am I missing?
No, that's it. I think that's everyone. I think you hit. I think you hit the sides.
Oh, those are the main characters in this, and essentially, those Avengers. That's what they're called. That group.
Big old fight.
And they don't have any power checks. So apparently they've been trying
Oh, wow.
to stop the big problems in the world, and they're destroying the places they're at and not trying to fix it at all, and they're just causing a lot of damage.
I'm gonna be honest. I
And-
thought that you were gonna stop your super your go through of the movie at just naming the characters and then say, yeah. That's the movie. That's it. These are the people within the movie that we have.
There's- Bucky is back again.
Beautiful guy.
Did forget him. So there are
He's too cute to be menacing. Like
Not a-
I thought that in the last
agree.
movie too, but I feel that especially now in this one. Like I feel like anytime he looks angry, it always just looks like he's pouting and he's just like sad, kind of in a way, you know?
Except for when he had like
Right.
that black makeup on, he looked a little spooky then.
Oh yeah, a little bit in that one scene that he had.
but so their own powers, their powers aren't being checked, and the world. I don't know if it's the world government or like the
Yeah, it was-
United Nations.
yeah, UN.
Like
yeah.
NATO or something.
The United Nations is like, we need you to sign a treaty, so we kind of check your power.
All right, we're 9 minutes in. Make it a little bit
Have him say
faster.
that?
You have 3 more sentences total.
Chandler did give a summary at the beginning of this,
Did he?
of the last one.
For
He
Civil
gave
War?
his opinion.
Well, yeah,
No.
but that was because he wasn't here the entirety of last episode. This isn't your
I'll say
opinion
nine.
of it. You're just describing the movie.
I know. I'm saying the 9 minutes isn't all me.
I know
Um,
that. I'm just saying, like, we got to start talking about it a little bit here. Chandler is
they
dying. The outside, he got struck by lightning.
the power checks, half of them want to sign, half don't. Bucky gets framed, and they try, and half of them tries to save him, half of them just give up on him.
So Chandler's fucking gone.
Yeah.
Should we explain why he was outside?
Nah,
All right.
he's outside because that's what he felt was the best place to record.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just his Wi-Fi that's the issue here, or if it's because he was specifically outside.
Me?
Uh,
Wait, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
We
we
heard
can
you
hear you.
there.
Okay, that's weird. On my end, nothing. There's no issue, so I'm very confused.
Oh,
Like y'all are moving from me. I can see like your mouths and everything. Like
you're frozen, but we hear you fine. We're gonna act like nothing
You can hear me?
happened here. Yeah, it's completely fine.
Okay.
So I had complaints with this one. And it's not like what you would think, because compared to like what I expected going into this movie, I feel like with this experiment, it actually holds up better than I anticipated it would for the most part. I feel like the biggest, like, all right, this is a little weird, is specifically Wanda and Vision, because who are these people? Like, this is really out of
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of people that we don't know.
No, I know that, and I think that's fine, because like with every new movie in a franchise, you're gonna add new characters to it, and I think that we see enough of Tony and some of the people on his side that we're like building up the villains of the movie, you know? So like it's just something that's natural, and I enjoyed that part. I just felt like those two specific characters felt very out of it, because it felt like they were supposed to be on another, like they did have a B plot for the most part, but I also don't feel like that B plot was like fully melded, and like we got this.
Who are Wanda and who?
Wanda and Vision.
Okay.
And also their
Well-
powers are so far beyond like what we have seen in this duology so far. It just is like, all right, this is crazy. All we knew is there was a guy named Iron Man, and Captain is on a team. We know this because of the second movie. He says to Nick Fury, I want Iron Man to stop by my kids, whatever. So we knew that Iron Man existed. We know of Tony Stark because of the thing, and we know that Cap is on leads a team in between missions with S.H.I.E.L.D. That's all we knew going into this. So I think that's like honestly enough context. And the beginning of this movie is such a great lead into the Avengers, because it kind of just gave me the vibe of we're watching him do one of his Howling Commandos missions from the first movie. He's just like picked up from World War II and placed in the current day and age, and this is what that would be. Just the Howling Commandos are a little bit stronger this time around, because they have, you know, superpowers and stuff like that. So I thought the Avengers stuff was relatively flowed in. There was just a handful of like plot stuff, and the jokes, I felt like the jokes are definitely turned up a bit, and I didn't like
I
that.
agree.
You don't think I agree? Wait.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with you saying the Avengers stuff flowed in very well.
Relatively well. I wouldn't say very.
I don't even know if I'd say relatively well.
Mhm.
Like, because the whole reason that we are to believe that Tony picked one side over the other is because of what happened on one of the missions, and we don't know what happened.
I think that's fine. We see enough of it. We see that there's a building that's lifted up into the sky, and we know that someone died. All we need to know is that they went on a mission, and they did. We saw them enact a mission at the beginning of the movie, so we just can assume that the other mission is something similar to that, and it's in a place called Sokovia, and they just failed doing what they were doing. I thought that was honestly enough to be able to like feel for these characters, and especially like someone. Wait, who was speaking? Was that Chandler?
Yeah, but I feel like it wasn't enough to justify what the opening scenes made Tony think like.
Well,
Because at the beginning, Tony's like, we want to venture forward, we want to like push the boundaries of like safety, and then all of a sudden he's like, whoa, we need checked, like by any means.
Well, he's also
And
on
that's
edge a little bit. Like I think that's what they were trying to show with the Pepper Potts stuff, and then immediately after that issue on stage, he guys got confronted by like an actual
but
consequence of his
I don't know
actions.
who Pepper is in relation to him.
Well, you don't need to know. You just need to know that he's upset by it from the different times that he gets upset by it in the movie. At least that's how I interpreted it. I just whenever he read the name, he just is like, okay, well, this is upsetting to me. And whenever he thinks about a redhead later on in the movie, oh, Chandler's back. Hi, buddy.
Sorry, y'all. My screen is black. I can hear y'all, but I don't know if you see anything on your end.
I can see you. You look great.
Okay. Then I'm just going to try and look at where you guys are and play along.
Hope for the best. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, it worked.
All right, Skyler,
Sorry.
I think you were saying something?
Like I feel as though Tony was made to like kind of push the boundaries of what everything is with technology and everything. And he has like obviously he has the money to come up with a lot of things, and he showed off his basically whatever number that his therapy costed, his one therapy
Yeah.
reality he made costed. It
It's
showed
under
that
11 million.
like, he tries to like invent something to come up with a solution, and then all of a sudden he backed out with this and was like, "No, we need to stop."
He kind of
And it felt like
explains it in the
hard
pen
to
scene,
stop
though.
on what he was.
You know, well, I mean, I think you might be feeling that because of your prior knowledge of Iron Man. Because, like, that's something that I was writing down. Like, yeah, this is a really weird movie, and everything feels rushed, Civil War wise. Whenever you have all these characters, this is going to be a really weird opinion, but I think Civil War actually works better as this trilogy than it does inside of the Marvel movies because. It's like they're buddies, they're fine, and then bam, this movie, and they're fighting and they're bad, and you're very confused on why they're angry at each other. However, like if you don't know who these characters are and you're watching this in this trilogy, it kind of you don't have to worry about the fact that they kind of turned on a dime because you only have this movie to know these characters, so you don't need to worry about that. And in the pen scene, he's like. He explains that he lost Pepper because he was unregulated with how much he was exploring and building, and this is something that he feels like he needs someone to like supervise this aspect of him so that he could get on track in his life. And I thought that was like justification enough in this movie. I don't think like within the grander Marvel universe, I don't think that's enough of a justification, especially since he marries her next movie.
I think like Cap makes a lot of sense in the trilogy, only the trilogy. It makes a lot of sense that Cap would be against it, especially because like we know his relationship with Bucky and how he just wants to protect Bucky, and he's relatively known for like kind of following his own kind of moral guidelines above somebody else, even though he's not against like siding with somebody.
Yeah.
So it kind of picks like his own moral judgment over somebody, but he's not afraid to pick their moral judgment if it aligns with him. But
I have a question for y'all.
I have an answer. Maybe.
okay.
Remember during the funeral scene of Peggy, her like that one shield agent, her granddaughter or whatever, gave that speech that kind of sided with Cap's idea of like not signing the accords. Like if someone tells you to do something you know it's wrong, don't do it. Like whatever that whole speech was. Did you think that they were like spoon feeding you?
Yeah, dude,
that
was not. Yeah. Well, that's it. See, I have a love-hate relationship with this movie because a lot of I felt like a lot of the jokes were very modern Marvel, and I didn't like that. And especially towards the beginning of the movie, I thought specifically Sam's jokes with the bird were so bad, and I just wasn't a big fan of that. And yeah, like stuff like that was super hand-fed to you. But then they also have like really great dialogue moments, like the bit where Wanda and Cap are sitting on the edge of her bed talking, and the bit with the pens like that I mentioned earlier where it was Cap and Tony after they arrested Cap, and they're having this really like great heart-to-heart because they know each other, you know. It was good. I really like that. But then like you said, they just have some really shit, dude. It's crazy. We'll get on to that. Does anyone wait, Chandler, what's your opinion? How do you think this movie flows as a trilogy? Skylar says no.
In my opinion,
yes.
not very well.
Okay.
I thought Winter Soldier followed very well. Like
yeah, that was
it had to do with Hydra still. And I think what ties this movie is kind of the Winter Soldier. He's still relevant, and there is aspects of Hydra. Actually, Hydra is kind of in all three. It's very minor in this one. It's more so flashbacks, and there's really no
Well,
Hydra fort. But
the items of 1 and 2 are what drives the plot in this instead of a direct member of 1 and 2, because this is an outward villain, like a completely new, not Hydra related villain who uses Hydra and Shield items to get what he wants out of this.
yeah, okay, with that, I say it flows. I do think it kind of culminates in this third movie, but the new additions of Vision, Wanda, and Lang. I have an issue with all three because it's like you really need to watch the prior films to understand, especially. But with Spider-Man, you don't, because he actually is introduced in this one.
I don't like Spider-Man in this. I think
fair.
it makes. I don't
He's
think it
very
makes.
talented.
I think
very
I think,
young.
I think. Oh yeah, Spider-Man, and like this is a great representation of the character. However, his inclusion in the movie does not make any sense because when the speech that Spider-Man gives to Tony on his bed is literally a description of Captain America's side. And Tony listens to it and is like, I agree with this guy. Let's go fight the guy he agrees with. Like, what the fuck?
From Tony's perspective, isn't he the little guy because he has less people on his side? It's like a
But that's not
whatever.
necessarily what he was saying. He just was saying that if you have the power and you don't do anything with it, then it's your fault. That's what he said. And that's what the Sokovia Accords are doing. Cap earlier in the movie says, like, if we have the power to stop this and we can't stop it because of the Accords, then that's on us. That's literally what fucking Peter said.
Isn't Tony? We have the ability to put ourselves in check. We need to be put in check. I should be doing everything in my power to make sure we can have some type of check, so we don't just cause like excess damage and harm.
But then Cap was like, "But the Accords will stop us from actually going and fighting places. That's gonna be the same thing as what Peter was saying, where you have the power and you can't use it. That's on you."
By the time they would give the go-ahead, the approval, people could be dead.
No way Peter would be on... If he knew the context of it, no way Peter would be on Iron Man's side. They only put him in the movie because they were like, oh, no, it's a Spider-Man! Everyone liked him! And granted, it was a fantastic casting, and I think like all the jokes, honestly, of Spider-Man's were they landed for the most part of this character, and not all of them were like having me go, ha ha ha, that's really funny, but like they were all within Peter Parker, within Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It fit for him, and I enjoyed that.
What about Lang? I thought his humor was still good too.
Lang? Yes. I thought he was pretty funny. The oranges thing, I put a reference in one of my short films that I made for school.
Yeah, what's ISIS?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I don't fucking
I wrote
know,
that down.
bro. Everyone judged me for it. I never mentioned that it was a reference to Civil War because I was embarrassed about it, but I put that, I had a character say that in one of my short films and everyone hated it, and I just was like, I'm keeping this in no matter what. Executive decision. But yeah. That's an explanation of that, if you've ever seen that. I'm not going to say the name of it because it's embarrassing. I don't. If any of my friends that worked on it are watching this, that would suck. But yeah, dude, so some of the CG in this movie was really, I don't know how to describe it because I want to say the word back and forth, but that's not necessarily true because by back and forth I don't mean from bad to good, but from me being like, that's good for the time. I still can notice that CG to being like, how the fuck did they film that? Like, that character is real, but the other character in that scene is definitely not. How did they do that? Like, there were multiple times during the plane scene that I actually thought to myself that, and especially with Giant Lang, like, he looks so good within that airport. It's wild to me, like, imagining there's specifically that moment where he kicks the boxes that T'Challa's on, and I'm just like, how the fuck did they film that? Because obviously they didn't have a big foot come down, But yeah. Did they have it explode? But if they had it explode, how'd they have it explode in that way to make it look like a foot's coming in and kicking it? It was fucking sick. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Like, I really do have a love-hate relationship with this movie. God.
It's kind of mental how, like, I'm assuming there's multiple hands involved, but like the director had to have had that vision of like the big foot kick.
Yeah.
all the boxes flying, and then they still had to make it actually work out and
Yeah,
click.
but how
Like,
did
I
they
don't
make the
know
boxes
how you do
explode?
that.
Because you can't just put
Is it
explosives under that.
is
Like,
it
what?
possible they just made a mini set
Just had
for
someone with a
Lang?
stick come in and
Well, a mini set
Maybe they
for
had someone
Lang just
inside
to
of the
do his
boxes.
steps on, and then kick
Right.
it, and then have the same set in normal size, and have them kind of blend the action.
yeah, I'd say for the most part, that I'm starting to think that maybe the wood shrapnel, because that's the thing that's getting me caught up because of the direction in which the wood shrapnel went flying. I'm thinking maybe that's like CG or something because T'Challa definitely was real in it. I'm thinking either Skylar's right and he definitely was digitally scaled up, or he was a CG guy. But yeah, I don't know. Whenever I think back at that, I really is it's a really great animation wise scene. I do have my quarrels with that scene too, but that's definitely not one of them. The visuals of it, I think it's very beautiful, animated.
Did you guys notice a lot of green screening though? Like
Oh
when they
yeah.
were
Yes.
running, like the background was obvious.
Oh yeah.
I thought, I know I don't mean to really go backwards a little bit, but I thought the CGI in Winter Soldier was magnificent. I didn't really notice much, especially with the ships. The only thing I noticed was Peggy. That was actually the first time I noticed that they CGI'd her face. But with this one, I definitely noticed some CGI issues.
Oh yeah. I
Like,
thought
in
CG
that-
Tony didn't look the best. Also, I don't like that moment at the beginning. Like why is he trauma dumping on a bunch of people here? Like we're only seeing that scene of his past because we need to have context for his parents later on in the movie. I don't think a billionaire would be that open with his feelings in front of a bunch of people that he does not know, regardless of the tech that he's showing off. You know, because he also could just show off a different piece of tech.
Has he ever mentioned this at all anywhere else about his parents?
His parents dying, yeah, he's mentioned his parents dying. Well, we don't know. Never mind, we don't
You're right.
know. We do not know, Chandler. It does
They
not.
had to bring it up, otherwise it wouldn't fit in the trilogy.
Exactly, and we wouldn't understand his anger at the end of the movie.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
What was your opinion on Zemo for the most part? In the fact that he drowned a guy by putting him in water and not having his mouth go underneath of the water at all.
Yeah, I was confused how the water ever reached his mouth
It
because
didn't.
his mouth is clearly out of the bucket, but the bucket is
Yeah.
overflowing. But I could
Yeah.
hear him drowning, and I know he didn't get lowered.
I wrote
Maybe he
down
can't
guy
breathe through his
instantly
mouth.
dies when water goes up his nose, dude. Maybe he had like
Yeah, maybe
a sinus
allergic.
infection or something, and like the second the water went up there, he just was like, ah, shit, burns. It hurts.
Maybe he is just allergic to the water.
Could be, yeah. He definitely could be, yeah. That's definitely true.
More realistic than drowning.
Yeah.
If he just said, he would probably still be good.
Yeah, that was so dumb. I every time I watch, since the very first time I saw that movie, I thought that was really stupid. One thing I thought that was really a fun touch of this was that the opening scene at the beginning, it started with three of the four characters in the opening mission were characters reoccurring in this film franchise, and I actually really enjoyed that because it was like a nice transition from the last one into this one. The only one being added was like the novice Scarlet Witch, who was like very clearly being taught, almost as if it was like her first mission out or something like that. And I thought that was pretty enjoyable for the most part with that. Sorry, I'm going down my notes here.
I do like the role that Sam has. I feel like he fits very, very, very well into all of these movies and into Captain America's team.
I wish his
Like-
jokes weren't so bad though.
Yeah, but like,
Some were okay. Like
Yeah.
he had one where he was talking to Spider-Man. Like usually there's not this much talking involved in.
Yeah,
I know they're excited.
Also, the only joke in the movie I wrote down because I giggled at it, it was his. Fuck, what was it? I don't want to mess it up, so give me a second here.
I also think Sam's like serious moments are really good. I feel
Yeah.
like he does those moments really well.
Oh, okay. There was. I should have committed. There really wasn't anything to quote. Scout! Show the baby. Yee! Look at the little bow. Hi,
Cal,
puppy.
do you think Civil War flowed well as a trilogy?
She says yes.
You said roof.
Yeah.
That means no.
The one joke I wrote down that I laughed at was whenever Bucky was like, "Can you move your seat up?" and Anthony Mackie was like, "No." And then they got back to him and he was just scooching over to the side there. which
Yeah,
then
at
was
least he did
immediately
that.
followed by a very gross scene of him kissing the granddaughter of the love of his life, which is wow.
It almost
jeez.
uncanonizes the whole film.
Yeah, it almost does. Yeah, and then he looks back and both of his buddies are in agreement, bro. Like, not one of them was like, bro.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like you're like 70 years older than her. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
You mentioned Scott. I think we have enough context with him, especially since like we're shown that he's such a weird, unique guy, and he could have just been someone that Sam happened to have met, and we have that little interaction with the two of them, which is more than kind of what we get with. Wait, actually, the post credit scene in the last movie showed Scarlet Witch. So like maybe that's like a kind of no. I'm stretching. I'm trying to connect my point.
No,
Here.
that was
I'm stretching.
that was for a different movie.
Yeah, I
though.
know. I'm stretching, Shan. I'm trying to be.
And wouldn't Vision still be?
Yeah, I'm
Vision,
still
yeah.
very confused
There's no
about that guy.
that
He was a
guy.
little weird. I wasn't the biggest fan of that. My biggest complaint about the movie, there's the biggest plot issue for me, is the people thinking that the Winter Soldier is the one who blew up the area. Like, that is so stupid to me. Like, that doesn't make any sense that he just like shaved and then put long hair on and they're like, it's the Winter Soldier. 100% it is. Like, he doesn't look nearly identical. Like, if he had like a metal arm or something like that, but no, he didn't put any effort into like trying to look like the Winter Soldier. But just so happens that the guy dressed in all black and has long hair, that's the Winter Soldier, 100%. For some reason, the public knows
His
that.
arm covered.
Yeah, his arm was covered, so we couldn't even see
Yeah,
that.
that's very suspicious.
It was so stupid. I was like, all right. I feel like that wouldn't have happened in the previous two movies. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's too dumb of a plot convenience or something stupid in that. I also, the other big thing that I didn't like about this movie was that they flew Clint and Wanda was on Cap's team. Yeah, they flew Clint and Paul Rudd and Wanda all the way to Germany when they were like, we need to get to, where is it? Slakovia? Where did they have to go? Where did they have to go at the end of the movie?
I do not remember.
Siberia?
Like,
Siberia?
Maybe that might be
I
right.
think it was
Probably.
Siberia. Well, like, if you're so worried about these super soldiers going and killing everyone, maybe instead of sending your super ultimate, like, deathly super soldier Wanda Maximoff to Germany to protect you to get to that area, maybe send her to Siberia and have her deal with it herself, because she would be able to do it way easier than you guys would.
True. I mean, that was like
You
what
still
the first
have a
movie
movie,
per
though.
hour.
Yeah, and you're already flying her from America to Germany. Just fucking skip the middleman and just send her there, you know? That really upset
she can
me.
fly as is too.
She can. Okay, well, that's a little excessive.
You don't know
Over
that.
the ocean, brother? Like, that's a little excessive. Well, we saw her fly in the movie, didn't we? We saw her do at least a little bit.
I don't
He,
know. I
like,
remember seeing her on the
Hovered,
ground.
maybe.
She did like she hovered a little bit, I think. She hovered.
Iron Man.
Yeah. Like, I think it was whenever they were doing the very stupid superhero run towards each other. I hated whenever they lined up like that. I thought that was so cringe. Like, why are the flying characters not flying right now? Like, this is so. Like, why are we taking a pause just so that we can line up and run at each other?
I also think it was like kind of insane to first showcase Vision and Wanda as like the strongest ones, because you've seen them like move a little bit, and Vision can basically be untouchable if he wants to be. And like a little bit before that, you see Wanda basically push him down to Earth's core,
Yeah.
and
Do it again.
it's like they can't solve your problem, really.
Yeah.
Neither of them together.
Didn't she
already
do
have-
more than just push him?
Yeah,
Like,
she increased his density. That's what
that's
it
what I
was.
thought. Really, like, she's the most powerful here. She
Yeah,
can literally
easily.
counter anything.
She
Yeah.
she grabbed his ball and used his power against him. It was crazy. I bet he
Yeah.
did not like that in the slightest.
And we also
Who knows?
saw.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did.
Didn't we also see her at the beginning of this movie? Like, a guy was about to blow himself up and
Yeah.
get a lot of people, and she just caught the explosion and made the guy only get himself and
So
kind
why
of threw
did
in the
she
air
throw
with
it
it.
straight up? There was a lot of space in the
Yeah.
in the sky that was not a building.
That
Maybe
did
she's
kill
not
people, didn't
100%
it?
good.
I mean,
I
she
mean, no
is
matter what-
novice. I did say that at the beginning. This might have been her first mission or something like that. So, like, I guess it's fair to think that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
No
it
matter
also
what
could
she
just be
did,
quick
people were gonna
thinking.
die.
Huh? What'd you say, Chen?
Like
I
if
heard
she
you.
didn't do anything, people were gonna die in the explosion.
Right.
And when she did do something, people still died in the explosion. I guess she could have taken
Well,
it into
doing
just
this is as easy as doing that. You know,
diagonally.
you could have
Yeah.
just angled it a little bit.
Yeah, but quick thinking. She probably was like, "Oh, I can't let this explode on the ground. Let me move it up."
I liked Zemo. I thought that even though
Joe?
Zemo wasn't Hydra himself, I thought we had enough context with him, and we also saw him use the items of the previous movies enough that it led for him to be a good enough villain. And it was fun seeing him tear down this team, and it's very rare that you see a villain win, and in such a way that it doesn't necessarily feel like he won in this movie. I could have gone without the oh, you're gonna rot here, you loser, oh, did I lose scene, you know, like I could have gone without that, but the rest of the movie was really great. I really enjoyed his speech to Tony and Cap, and I also really enjoyed that scene with Black Panther at the end of the movie. It was very, very fantastic. I quite enjoyed that for the most part. Can we talk about how Ant-Man beat up Captain America? Not in this movie, in the Ant-Man movie. And by that, I mean he beat up Falcon. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
you're right. My bad.
Yeah, I don't know what
I just realized that whenever he said like it won't ever happen again, I'm like, all right, Falcon, let's be honest here. Ant-Man is gonna beat you up next way to Sunday. And I thought about it and I was like, wait, he's Captain America now. Ant-Man beat up Captain America.
Yeah.
Not that we saw.
Honestly-
We have not seen that. Never mind.
Ant-Man could have stepped on any of those guys and killed everyone.
yeah.
So like he might be the strong.
Not Wanda or Vision.
Dude, the power scaling
Okay, maybe
in
not
the
then.
universe is so fucking insane from the previous movie to this movie. It is. We just had big, strong, buff guys. Now we got big, strong
but-
laser beams, and it was all over the place. Definitely wild.
We went from like super soldiers to there are high tech suits. Oh, there's like a witch. Oh, there's Vision.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought the
And a
movie
guy
was
who
shot
never-
better too. You know, I thought, to praise the movie a little bit, I thought it was shot significantly better than the previous movie. Because one thing that me and Skylar talked. What'd you say?
I do think it also had better action and better effects.
Yes, I
Going
agree with
into
that fully. Yeah. So like, even though the last movie felt a little bit more grounded with what it was doing, I think that being able to actually see what's going on the screen is also something that I like in a movie. And it was really fun to see all the different like fighting and not with a camera that's going like this all over the place and seeing movement. And all the CG was really great. I don't know where I was going with this. Where did Bucky's arm go? Did he disintegrate his arm at the end of the movie? That's an insane amount of power that Tony has. And I know the other movies don't exist, but hypothetically, if the other movies did exist, I wish we saw the amount of power that it took to disintegrate a metal arm. If we saw that in any of the other movies, Iron Man might be the strongest
Was
Avenger.
it not vibranium?
No, it's not vibranium in this one.
Okay.
But he's still like, that was a lot of arm. That was a lot of arm there, Chandler. And it was gone. He just
Yeah, it was like from like here.
yeah,
like that.
all of it is gone. And it was in a split
mean,
second.
Maybe I don't
The-
remember when it happened, but did he use his like the pulse,
chest,
like his beam in his chest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that thing I like that thing's.
I know that thing's strong, Chandler, but
That's what we were
it
assuming.
was a half a millisecond of a scene, and that thing was disappeared.
Yeah,
And
Iron
I
Man
was
thin, bro.
I was looking this time because I was like, all right, let's see if there's any shrapnel that flies off of it. None. It shoots, he's onto the ground. There's nothing, there's no arm flying off of it, nothing like that. And he gets up and it's just a little stub. So he disintegrated the entirety from like here down on his big beefy metal arm.
In the fight scene right before, we did see him just completely cut through stone.
Yeah.
With a smaller beam.
Yeah.
Also, that Captain America Bucky combo before when they're tossing the shield around like on the ground to combo each other.
Yeah.
Easily
I
the
mean,
best, like cine
Like hand to hand
choreographed fight.
in the movie.
Like-
yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe just in the 3 so far.
Yeah, probably.
That was insane.
The knife scene would have been if we
choreographed
actually
fight.
saw it all the way through, you know? But
Yeah.
we actually, the camera stayed still in this one, and we saw the actual combat go in and hit him. It was really cool. I agree with you. I thought that was really great. Whenever I was thinking about how beautiful the movie like was shot, that was what I was thinking of. That and the recreation of the comic book scene where he like shot against the shield. Now that I mentioned that, I should speak about the elephant in the room. Like everyone's big problem with this movie is that it's not like the comic book at all, because the comic book had like several dozen years of build up, and this one just kind of went from the Avengers being a team to the Avengers being upset at each other and stuff like that. But I feel like it, at least in the context for how we watched it, I felt like it was a pretty decent job of setting them up and having them fight each other. And I understand that they weren't like this. They weren't what they were. The Avengers weren't what they were in the comics whenever they had the Civil War in this one. They just were like these protectors. But I feel like it kind of makes sense. In a realistic world, they probably wouldn't have regulations or some sort of thing like this put onto them like after like 20 years. You know, it probably would be something that happens pretty quick because it's a big deal. But I don't know. I don't like that idea of it. I don't think that comics need to 100% be what they're based on. I don't know. There's another Civil War, so it's not like there's multiple things for it to go off of. People think I have a dumb opinion on that. I think
I actually do agree. It does make sense. I mean, so they haven't been around for a super long time, even less if you're only watching the Captain America movies. And then
well, that's
all
what
of a
people
sudden
don't
they're
like
like,
about it. Because
What, did
there
they-
wasn't any build up to the Civil War, while in the comics there was like a ton of build up to it.
but at the same time, there is just these insanely powerful people popping up a lot more, and they even mention how it's like increasing the amount of challengers to try and take them on.
Yeah.
And so the government's like, okay, there's these really strong people. Like, granted, they're protecting us, but they are causing a lot of trouble. and they have to like be like, okay, what if these do turn bad? Like, what if it's just like a ploy?
Yeah.
They have to be nervous and at least kind of fearful about it. They probably want some like layer of like, okay, if stuff goes bad, what can we do? And so I think it makes a little bit of sense for them to be like, okay, we need to figure out.
Yeah.
You need to be checked or
I-
something. We had to make sure your intentions are true.
I definitely agree with that. And what do you guys feel about the idea of taking the title of a? Because I was talking. One of my friends at work. He's one of the people that really doesn't like whenever it doesn't copy the comic. And his idea is if you're gonna use the title of the comic as clickbait, then you should at least have it be as similar as possible to that comic. But I don't necessarily like that because I feel like you have to have changes to it because you can't just adapt the comic as best as possible whenever the storyline doesn't necessarily fit with it at that moment. And you could just say, oh, then just title it something else. But this still is a civil war between them. It's just not that specific civil war.
I feel like it could have been titled Avengers Civil War.
I disagree.
Maybe.
Captain America is very definitely the main character, and it does pick up where the other ones left off for the most part. Like
Captain America is also the leader of the
Yeah.
Avengers.
Yeah, but so
So
is
he's gonna be
Tony
the
in this
lead,
universe too, you know? Like I think they were
Yeah, they're
both
like
the same. Yeah.
They both got a lot of screen time.
Yeah, because Tony's the villain,
Tony's
the
around.
secondary villain of the movie. Which I thought having two villains, the way that they handled it in this was pretty
Loki,
good.
I think he's the protagonist.
He's not the protagonist. He had like a quarter of the screen time that
I want to
Captain
believe
America
he's
had.
the protagonist.
Well, because you like him more, bro. That's the only reason why. Captain America very clearly was the protagonist in this movie. He had way more screen time, and it was him that was driving the plot, and it was just Tony that was chasing after him. It was 100% him, the protagonist.
You would have won
Iron
that
Man being the
2v1.
Second
You would have won that 2v1.
Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Cap.
He's
Cap.
going X Games.
Cap. Literally, Captain America.
No. Hey, it was an unfair fight, bro. He was going crazy.
Whatever. I like Cap.
I have to say, do you guys remember what this film was going to be called before it was Civil War? Do you remember that?
No, it was called something else.
I remember watching like a showcase. You know, they do like a panel
Yeah.
every year, every other year, and they show all the movies. Well, it was like, I don't know. I'm probably wrong with this, but it was going to be like Captain America, and they probably had a placeholder like called Snake or something.
Oh, Serpent Society. That was a bit.
Oh, okay. So this was the idea. I was
Yeah.
just wondering, like, maybe they
This was
didn't
always
mean
Civil
for this
War,
to be the
for sure.
Civil War, and it was just like last minute they're like, you know what? let's change the script a little bit and go this direction.
I
Now,
think
when I
that
say
was
last
related
minute,
to
I don't
Captain
mean
America 4. I think that bit was for Captain America 4.
but I definitely remember something because it switched to Civil War and the crowd went crazy. And I remember
Okay,
like,
then
oh,
that okay, then they were doing that as a okay. I remember what you're talking about. Yes, you're right. I was wrong.
Yeah.
It was for this one. They were doing that as a bit to make people disappointed and then switch it around and have it be hype.
yeah, okay. Okay, then I guess that changes where I was gonna derail into. But I can follow back up with the disintegrated arm portion.
Okay.
I know why it disintegrated.
Yeah.
Because his alt, maximum pulse, bro, destroys
right.
everything.
Yeah,
You're right.
It does do a lot.
Okay. It's actually incorrect in a different way. It should have taken off more of his body because
You're right. No,
And that also proved that Cap would win, or that Cap would lose.
no,
the
he would win
1v1,
because he would
even-
bounce it back.
Unless his shield ran out. They were fighting a lot beforehand.
Well, so is Iron Man. He doesn't have a whole lot of health, and Captain's a tank.
But he's a flyer. They can't hit him.
Throw in a little thingy.
his alt was just
All right,
charged.
whatever. Get out of here. Does anyone else have like main like points that they haven't hit yet that they want to get out of their way?
Yeah. So not in connection with only the Captain America movies, but I think this does a good setup for the Spider-Man, Iron Man relationship they have.
For the most part, however, there's something that like seriously pissed me off related to this movie, and I'm happy that you brought it up because it's kind of related to that. This is the third Captain America movie. This is the final Steve Rogers Captain America movie, and the end of the movie is Spider-Man will return. That actually irritated me to another extent. Like the movie literally leaves off with the idea that Captain America is like going away. We want to see that he'll be back again. This is 100% a marketing thing, and I fucking hated that. It really upset me. I really didn't like that. And the post-credit scene for Spider-Man was so dumb because you never even see that little light thing ever again. Like what the fuck? I did like how he was. I did like the way that he made the jokes about how he got punched in the face and how he fought against a really big guy. But that's the end of my rant there. That was the last point I had against the movie.
Chad?
Well, I was gonna add to that, like Spider-Man was just introduced. Of course, he's gonna return. Why would they waste the 3 words for that?
Yeah, it was so dumb, man. It's a Captain America movie. Fuck that.
Yeah. At least let me know Iron Man's gonna return.
Yeah. I don't even fucking care, dude. I don't even care. I like the bit where he was like, "My father made this shield," and he dropped it.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't even talk about fucking Black Panther and how fucking cool he is. Absolute unit. One of the best additions ever to the MCU. Rest in peace, the absolute GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
I love him.
You guys like that he was introduced in this film, though?
Yes. I thought it was done pretty well.
Yeah, his father dying and him being like, "I'm gonna kill that guy."
There was one too many characters in this movie, but like I'm saying, I'm pretty sure it's Wanda and Vision. Like I don't think he was one of the ones that was holding it back. You know, especially since his power is just he's a strong guy. It's understandable that other nations would have another strong guy. I think that makes sense. But just those other two like super powered people, it was too much.
I think they were a bit much. Having like another Iron Man was also kind of
like who's this guy?
Yeah, like okay, we have Iron Man and then like slightly weak Iron Man.
You know what?
Like,
I'm changing my opinion on that immediately. I'm doing a really quick 180 because of the scene at the end where he breaks his back. We needed Iron Man to go into the final bit a little loose, a little off kilter, a little on edge, so that he could fight them. So we needed someone to get hurt in his life. We needed his Bucky to get hurt. And what's the easiest way to build a connection between two characters without actually having them talk to each other in the movie? Giving them the same costume, you know? Like, come on.
I think the big part to make him fight in the end was Bucky killing his father.
Well, and his mom.
I think they were fine with. I think if they cut out that part, because he kind of like forgave him for that before, because he went there and he's like, "Well, put your gun down. Like, I'm not here for you."
Well, yeah, but it's still something he's gonna be thinking about, you know. Still,
but I mean, it wasn't enough to make him really that off kilter.
Well, yeah, the parents thing was the thing that put him over the edge, but like Pepper and the Sokovia Accords and the kid dying because of him, and then Rhodey breaking
I
his
feel-
back, and then finally his parents. That's like the final thing that makes him break
I
bad.
feel like just the kid dying, Pepper, and his father and mother dying was more than enough.
That's fair.
I feel like they could have went without it, and
Three's the
it
magic word.
would have basically been the true.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been the same result.
Yeah. Still
Maybe
pissed
they were
about Spider-Man will return. I didn't make a single noise when watching this movie until the very end. Whenever that popped up, I just went, bruh. that really
Yeah.
upset me.
Can I say something retrospectively?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In Winter Soldier, I didn't notice it, but they teased Bucky killing his parents during the
That's what I'm saying. I feel like this movie fits a lot better than I expected it to going into it.
yeah.
It fits better. I still don't think it fits that well.
Well, yeah, I would much rather have had like a more conclusive third movie in this trilogy. However, I think other than the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, this is going to be the best we're going to get. You know?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's hard for me to say because I haven't watched them like in a minute. But I feel like the Iron Man ones might flow better. But I also don't remember them that much.
too much. I feel like that kind of.
I'm not sure. I guess we'll.
I don't know if I agree or not. I don't know. I guess we'll see when we get there. I guess we'll see. Yeah.
Who's gonna represent Thor
out there?
Fuck no, dude. I was just talking with people from work about that, dude. Thor has the worst lineup of films. I think we have to do that next year because of how shit ass they are.
I mean, Ragnarok's kind of.
I retroactively don't like Ragnarok after watching the other one. It's too similar to Love and Thunder. I don't like it anymore.
But it was the first of its kind.
I don't care, dude. I rewatched it recently, and you can see some jokes that were the same type of joke as Love and Thunder. Like there's oh my god, you can tell that whenever a joke is ad-libbed or whenever a joke is in the script, whenever you watch Ragnarok, and I hate it. I hate it so much. And I would say the same thing about Love and Thunder. However, it's very obvious within Love and Thunder that there never was a script in that movie at all to begin with. So it doesn't even matter. But fucking Thor. Real quick, I'm gonna say this real quick, and then we're done. We're done talking about this. We could go on to the numbers of the movie. But there's a stupid fucking joke where he's like, "Oh, he was a snake, and then he turned into himself and stabbed me with a knife." Hate that joke. It makes me cringe every single time I watch it. Ever since the theaters, it is the most ad-libbed, dumbass, stupid joke I've ever seen in a Marvel movie. Ragnarok ruined Marvel, regardless of the quality of it. Because every movie after it was like, we have to have as many jokes as this movie.
Well,
right, Chandler, you're going with your
directly after that movie or with Thor: Love and Thunder?
No,
You're saying that one.
I'm saying like following Endgame, Marvel movies tried to take Ragnarok as their base.
Fair.
All right, Chandler, you're giving your number first for the movie.
All right, 7.5.
That's fair. Skylar, wait,
Yeah.
you're gonna give any description of it at all?
I was just gonna say I really wasn't entertained in this film. Like this is probably the first time I didn't really care for Civil War. What's that?
It's long. It's two.
Yes, it is.
2 hour 40.
It definitely is. I liked Winter Soldier so much. Going to this made me a little upset. I'm not gonna lie.
Captain America 1 is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. I think it's really, truly fantastic. And this movie, like, the only
Is it fantastic?
The only thing of this movie that like necessarily reminds me of that movie is the cinematography, because I did think that it was shot very beautifully, but like the story is not nearly as good. There's so many characters, it feels bloated, and God, it's long. There are parts in which I am entertained and I'm fully through it. Like there are like 20-minute bits where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of locked in, but then there's like 30-minute bits in which I'm really not, and there are some good dialogue bits. But then there's also some really shit ones, and it really upset me. I do agree with Chandler. Every time I watch this movie, I like it less and less. So I'm giving this one a 6.5 out of 10. Skylar?
So I gave this one an 8 because I think the action was really good, and I was a little surprised by that. As a standalone movie, I gave it like an 8. As like a trilogy, I'd probably go closer to a 7, just because it's a lot all at once, and it's a lot of new things that you just kind of have to like assume and accept. without too much rhyme or reason. But I'm gonna go with my description as an 8 because I think as a standalone movie and as a Marvel movie, it is pretty good. It introduces like a lot of big characters and kind of gives you like a basis of their power. But as you just said, there were moments where I was checked out, but there were moments where I was so locked in that it kind of bounced out a little bit. At some points, I thought like some characters shouldn't really do this. Some characters probably should do this. I mean, that changes whether I'm thinking it's a trilogy or a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think it's really good. It was a long watch, but I still think that there isn't too much they could cut to really lower the time much. There's probably like speed up a couple scenes here and there, but I don't really see this movie falling below 220.
There's just so much going on in it.
Yeah, it's just kind of overwhelming. But again, that's not like it like is the movie's fault, but it's also like
the MCU.
Not
it's what the MCU did at the same time. It never was going to be like the perfect cap to this trilogy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the review. So okay, I realized something. There is another Captain America thing that we are not going to review because it would be too long. Captain America and the Winter Soldier, the TV show. I in this experiment kept saying like, oh, it's going to be so bad. We won't understand the fourth Captain America movie. However, if we were truly following the Captain America comic book medias, we would have watched that. So if you guys want to do a YouTube video, like a 5-minute review of Captain America and the Winter Soldier so that we could find out how we got a different Captain America and then watch Captain America, He's a Bird Now. That's how we're going to go into next week. If you this is a challenge for you guys. Chandler, have you watched Captain America and Winter Soldier, the TV show?
Yes.
Okay, come in with your review. I'll come in with mine. Skylar, if you watch it, you get to pick every single gap in the calendar that isn't there until the next year.
How long are the episodes?
An hour,
Like
and there's
40,
8 of them.
50. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. That just can't happen. I just don't have that time.
I know. I just was messing with you. There's no way.
I thought about it,
You can
because
watch
that's
a
lot of
5-minute
movies.
review, or you don't even watch a review. TLDR: John Walker exists. He was Captain America, but then he's not Captain America, and now the bird is Captain America. There it is. Wait, were you okay?
But at least meet
Sorry,
Kurt.
a lot of knowledge all at once.
Oh, what'd you say?
Am I saying this wrong? Kurt Russell's son? Am I saying that wrong?
No, you're saying that right.
Okay, yeah. You get to meet him.
Yeah,
He's pretty chill.
I like him. I like Wyatt Russell, but Skylar already met him in the movie that we watched.
Yeah. But you get to like meet him for like that first face-to-face experience, even if it's virtual.
Yeah. All right.
If it's virtual.
Time to get in the news. Hey, there's a bunch of game stuff. I didn't screenshot a whole lot of it. If someone wants to come in with a bunch of their really hyped game announcements, that would be crazy while I go through this. There's
a Switch 2 and Mario Kart is officially
we already
out.
talked about those.
Yeah, but like people got to play, and they said it's pretty enjoyable.
I heard it was fun, but it's Mario Kart.
Yeah, so replay value is certainly in danger, but
I'm not.
I've heard the Switch quality is. I've heard both. It's really good, really bad. Get a Steam Deck. Get the other different portables that are like a Steam Deck.
Alloy or whatever.
I was told to pirate the games because like I almost bought a Switch 2. Like I actually almost went out to Target today to buy a Switch 2 just to get the.
You wouldn't have found one.
What?
I bet you so much money you would not have found one.
I don't know. I've heard that people were able to find them at Target for the most part.
Yeah.
I've heard that it's not as rare that you'd think.
Oh, I heard.
I think it's made that. It actually made a lot of one.
Caden was telling me a story that he was either he saw somebody on TikTok or like somebody he knew was gonna go get one, so they like woke up at like 8:10 like just to go get one, and they were gonna go to Walmart, and Walmart had a line past his apartment building, and they were letting in people specifically for the Switch, and people for groceries.
That's insane.
And, yeah, like the Switch people had to wait, and the grocery people just got to walk through.
That sucks for that area, bro. There's a YouTuber that lives in California that posted a picture of him holding the Switch 2 walking out of Target, and he said that was shockingly easy. There's tons of them in there. I thought that was funny.
I would just go in like I'm ordering groceries.
Yeah, Chandler, that's a great idea. You go in if you're ordering groceries, and then meander.
Dude, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. They'd have to have somebody like escort or something so that people don't do that. But
okay, so I'm gonna go through media news that isn't video game related. Well, I mean, maybe some of this is game related. I don't remember. Oh, we have one game related news, but that was because I found out about it before we actually the State of Play and the Summer Games Fest actually did their thing. I thought Summer Games Fest last year was so much more enjoyable. At least they had like way hyper releases. Like I didn't see anything crazy. We got an official release date for Rian Johnson's next Knives Out movie, Wake Up Dead Man, that releases on December 12th, 2025. I'm pretty excited for that. I like both of those movies. So we found out, apparently, in an interview, Sebastian Stan said that Marvel promised him that he would be Captain America whenever he initially joined the MCU. I thought that was pretty funny and also relevant to this episode, so I wanted to go ahead and say that. We're getting a James Bond video game. That's the one video game news that you're going to get from me, called First Light. That one will be interesting. I'm pretty decently excited for that.
Like Hitman?
Huh? I don't know. I didn't watch the trailer. I saw the announcement before the actual trailer came out. I'm probably not going to watch the trailer for it. Oh, I should have read my own news. In the news, it said trailer to be released in Summer Games Fest in a week. I thought I should have. Yeah, whatever. All right, we got a release date for the next season of Gen V, September 17th. Haven't seen the first season, so I don't really care about this, but I know that Chandler liked the first season, so he should be excited for that.
It's good.
Apparently, that's a stupid piece of news. I'm not going to talk about that. I don't care about that. All right, so apparently, Skylar's going to be happy about this. Apparently, Keanu Reeves is not happy with Constantine 2's script. But then the co-writer says that he doesn't care, and he says, wait, what did he say? I think Keanu says, I've done John Wick. This movie is spiritual. It's about demons and regular people. Wait, that's a stupid quote. Why did this article say that? IGN, you're stupid. Keanu Reeves said that
came out, right?
What?
There's a different John Wick that just came out, right?
Yeah, Ballerina. Yeah.
Maybe they got the quote confused?
No, it's definitely about that. They just worded it bad. Keanu Reeves is not happy with the script, and his co-star is saying that he's overreacting to it. I disagree with that. I think that if Keanu is one of the reasons why they're making Constantine 2 anyway, because he saw that people enjoyed it. So like, if he's not happy with it, I don't even want to see it, and that's coming from the guy who liked Constantine. And the final bit of news I have is that James Wan, who created Saw, now has the Saw franchise rights. He just owns them now, which is pretty neat. That's all my news. Resident Evil, there's another Resident Evil. That was the only other game I saw at Games Fest. I don't know what else. Anything cool from anyone? Anything?
I didn't really watch it.
I didn't either. Anything?
No.
Nope. All right.
I don't think
we can move into the next segment.
Well, I do have a question.
I have an answer. Hopefully me.
You know what? I will. Zach.
Yeah?
What have you been watching?
Dude, I will tell you. And this is exciting because this episode will go down in history of Mediak, because a while back I decided that I was going to rank every video game ever in a video. However, that will take too long if I decide to make an individual video for every single video game. So whenever I finish a game and I think that it is fine, below fine, like kind of in the fine area, I'll only make a video whenever they're absurdly bad, absurdly good, or mean a lot to me. So I have finished a video game, and I'm going to put this onto the ranking. So anyone who watches a video down the line, you're going to have to come to this video to see my review of Sea of Stars, because I finished that game, and I took some notes on it. Just a small review, because I thought it was kind of mid for the most part. I thought the game was good overall. I really enjoyed the actual aspects of the game, and I thought that the mechanics were fun. And you got enough characters that it made it so that the gameplay wasn't boring. I thought that the idea of like being able to swap between characters but only having 3 out at a time was interesting because then you had to change your characters according to how you're being attacked. However, I also felt like that made the game insanely easy. I never really had to retry a boss. The only times I died were times in which I wasn't paying attention, and I ended up with so many items that I never felt like I was stressed at all going into any bits of the game. I wish leveling was individual instead of you level up your entire party just in one levels bar. I hate that. I think that's so stupid.
Like
what was it?
Like Pokemon?
Yeah, I wish it was more like Pokemon, like each of your different party characters had their own individual XP instead of having one that went across the entire board. I think that's so dumb. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that the plot is overly positive to the point that like I genuinely didn't believe a character died whenever they died, and I also thought that certain characters were too positive that they were bad guys, but it just turns out that they were just really insanely overly optimistic characters. It just didn't feel realistic the way that a lot of these characters acted. But I understand that it's a game about being chill and happy, and it's supposed to be like a fictional fun thing. All the bosses had insanely great designs, and all the animations in the game were actually like really good. I wish there was like a boss rush where I can go ahead and see all of the bosses that I fought throughout the game again, because I just genuinely thought they were insane, great animations. I thought the game goes a little long. It definitely does, and it has a bad ending. I think it falls off the rails at the end because having two immortal characters that were fighting each other infinitely can only end in like a handful of ways. Yeah, and that's kind of what happened. Like you won, but it doesn't feel satisfying because the bad guy just goes, "Oh well, I look like I lost this time. Your chess pieces did better than my chess pieces, so we're going to go chill now." And that's kind of like how the game ended, and I didn't enjoy that. And also the final boss was not good at all. It was really bad. But I understand that they wanted to do something different, and the one time it turned CG in the game was actually really cool too, about like 75% way through it. But yeah, that's my review of it. I think it's a 7. It was pretty fun. I probably wouldn't really recommend it to someone, but I don't regret playing it, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Hell yeah. So that's going to be added to the list. It's not the worst game I've reviewed so far. Sorry, I'm pulling on my phone because I need my flashlight to see the other stuff that I reviewed. Oh my god, what is that? I honestly have no idea what that is. Holy shit.
It says Zambies.
Dude, what the fuck is that? Oh, it's Stellar Blade. I wrote it too small. I can't see it. I played an hour and a half of Stellar Blade because that's the next video game I'm going to be playing. And I don't think it's going to be one I'm going to be making a video on, if I'm being 100% honest. And then me and Chandler, we beat the fucking Shattered Veil Easter egg yesterday, finally. That very, very hard boss. Skylar, you should have seen it, dude. We were banking on going down in the boss fight, because that was the only way that we could do damage without dying. We were like, all right, we're gonna have a couple people go down, and they're just gonna shoot the boss while everyone else runs around, and then we'll just revive them. It was crazy.
It was so cheesy. It was so cheesy, but like normally I'd be pressed with like, man, that doesn't feel like super satisfying. but honestly, the way we did it, Zach thought of it like using his wits like during the game. Was like, I think this is the meta, and it honestly kind of felt like, you guys ever play Soulsborne games, stuff like that. You know, sometimes it's just beating the boss is all that matters. It does not matter how many flasks you have to consume to heal yourself. That's what it felt like. It was that rewarding.
All of the gobblegums, we used that. There's no way you're beating that without any gobblegums, bro. That fight is way too hard. It is ridiculous. And the reason I thought of it was because like, on the first wave, admittedly, embarrassingly, I went down, so I already lost all of my shit. So the game was already fucked for me. So I was going down like repeatedly. So I was locked on him, shooting him like in the first stage. And I realized, wait, this is actually kind of a good idea. We should use this a little bit here. Other than that, the other stuff that I watched, I'm not up to date on Fire Force or Windbreaker because Gio was in Florida on Friday, so we weren't able to watch the most recent 2 episodes. But before then, we're caught up for the most part. So we're caught up except for 1 episode on each of those shows.
Do you like Windbreaker?
I think it's good.
What's it called? Okay. I've thought about watching it, but I don't know. I guess I saw it for like 10 minutes and decided not to watch it. So I don't know if I'm going back or not. But
it's good.
Okay.
So
G likes it a whole lot. I think it's good.
It's all right.
It's good.
Meh.
It's good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it to me?
Chandler,
Yes, guy.
what have you been watching?
Too much, guys. I have so much.
Bullshit.
Not just watching, of course, Black Ops 6 and the zombie Easter egg yesterday. What I've been reading. What if Loki was worthy?
You actually read it?
I'm a good chunk through it.
What'd you
Maybe
think
like
of the
at
New
least
York chapter? I really enjoyed that one.
with like the
With Happy.
Destroyer and Thor and
Yeah.
that was tough.
Yeah.
Because like they say like there was like he was holding a weapon that said Stark Enterprises on it
Yeah.
or whatever Industries, and I was like, no way, that was Iron Man. They just killed Iron Man. No.
The way that
But-
they described Thor, like, and they were like, his face was like burnt and blood was gushing from it or stuff like that. I was like, holy shit, dude, this is being way too
Yeah.
like
It's
way
pretty-
more gory than I was expecting.
Yeah, I like it. I
Yeah.
do love it, and I keep forgetting that this is a what if, an alternate timeline, and they're actually introducing these characters for the first. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a great
thoroughly. Reading the first chapter and stopping was not the move. Just at least getting to the second chapter would have hooked me.
Yeah. It's
First one
it's
I was-
a really great one.
Yeah.
And I think
So
it
I'm-
only
I
gets
said-
better as the book goes on. My biggest complaint is that it's an anthology and the next book in the series doesn't follow these characters again because oh my god, I just want to see more of this, you know? It's so good.
What if we see this in the what if season 3?
No. What? I've seen season 3. It's not in it.
You mean season 4?
Season 3 already came out?
Yeah, season 4
Yeah.
is not existing. They canceled it on season 3. Season 3 was disappointing.
Maybe I never watched season 3
Maybe
actually.
you didn't.
Oh.
He might not have. Came out during Christmas
Interesting.
time around that.
Yeah, I definitely didn't then. That came out quick.
Yeah, it did.
Because season 2 wasn't that long ago.
Yep.
Anyways, Trigun Stampede, I binged it on the whole plane ride over. It is so damn good.
I know,
Oh.
dude. It's actually peak entertainment, isn't it?
I fall in love with Vash, bro. He's amazing. It almost makes me want to watch the older stuff.
Yeah, do it,
There's
please.
so much more content that they have already out, but I don't know. Maybe
Dude.
there's a chance I get to that.
Both are
but-
so good, dude. Like I said, it's like that. It's the meme from Predator where Arnold and Carl Weathers do the clap. Like both adaptations of Trigun are great.
They both complement each other almost.
Yeah.
I watched all of Code Geass. That show is peak.
Interesting,
Oh
okay.
my god. That was. Wait, what do you mean
That's
interesting?
I haven't seen it yet.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't
I know
either.
Sky's seen it, right?
No.
Oh,
My brother has.
I thought Sky. I thought you said that it was good. That's the only reason I watched it because I
Maybe-
thought you said you liked.
It might have been my brother. That's the only person I
Maybe.
know that's watched it.
I would say it was very good. It gave me lots of Death Note vibes.
Yeah, that Austin said the same thing too.
You never knew what to expect in each episode. And that's what made each one so entertaining. Up to date on Fire Force, 2B Hero X.
I almost started watching that.
2B Hero X.
I almost did. I
It's-
didn't though.
I've really come around to it because there's like maybe 6 or 8, 7 episodes, whatever it is, and like every 3 is different. Every 3 episodes does not continue. If that makes sense.
I do. Yeah. that
So-
makes sense.
But it's in a good way. I finally got around to the Wild Robot. It's been years, but it actually made me tear up.
It's such a
I
good
haven't
movie.
cried in a movie in forever.
I cried 3 times my first time watching it, and I cry once or twice every single time I watch it since. It's such a fucking good movie.
You know, whenever like his training arc, whenever he's
dude,
flying
that's
on-
it, dude. That gets me. I can't
It
not.
was so beautiful, dude.
It's
just
so
like
good.
literally everything about it. The music hit.
Yeah,
Seeing all of like the geese or whatever they were flying around, dude. It was, oh my gosh. It gave me butterflies actually.
it's so good.
Um,
That movie's amazing.
I couldn't cry though because there was someone next to me on the plane and I wasn't about to do that. So
That's
That's
fair.
fair. That's fair. My theater was.
what
dark.
else? I saw Monkey Man.
Oh, what'd you think?
I thought it was pretty good.
I've gotten that recommended a lot.
Was that
only
a theater
thing though
release a
Yeah.
couple months ago?
No, it was a
Okay.
couple years ago.
Years?
Yeah.
It might have been like within last year because I watched a Moist Critical video and I actually remembered his review during the movie. Like everything was making sense. Like lots of camera shaking, which is like the biggest negative I could say about the film. But other than that, I thought it was a really good revenge story. I watched A Working Man, just another one of like Beekeeper.
They look bad, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
They're very cheesy, but actually this one was smart. I'll say it was smart. Like, you know how like that Santa Claus movie where like you touch the end of the barrel and his hand was burning?
Yeah.
Like how some movies don't even get that right. I felt like this movie was smart in a lot of things it did, even if it was cheesy and the dialogue was kind of unbearable. But I also watched Novocaine. That was really good.
I like Novocaine.
It wasn't Christmassy at all, though. Like,
you thought it was Christmassy?
Because it released in December, and like there's like kind of like a heist that goes on, and they're all like dressed up as Santa Clauses, like,
I kind of
and they would radically throw in like Christmas jokes, but it was like during the movie, I realized, wow, this was actually marketed as like a Christmas film to some degree.
I never watched the marketing, so I don't know.
It was just like, like commercials that I would see and stuff like that, like this holiday, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't get that vibe whatsoever for the most part. So, but other than that, I thought it was really funny. And whoever the actor is, I forget his name. I know he's
Quaid.
Huey. He's so good.
I know,
he's
right?
Such a good actor.
Dude, that scene in the bank where he's like screaming whenever they point the gun at him. Dude, I was like, dude, you didn't need to actually like try during this movie. What are you doing? Like, come on. I don't know if you read the script or like this isn't one of those things where it requires a good actor.
Yeah, exactly. But he makes it good.
Yeah,
he makes it really.
He did great in it. He was definitely the best part.
And lastly, Pluto. You guys know that show?
I've heard it was great. Don't say anything about it.
I have one more episode, the finale, to watch, and I like it. It's far different than any show I've ever seen, and for that reason, I love its uniqueness.
That's badass. I want to watch it eventually. I'm really excited to see it. I've heard really great things about it. For the most part, is that everything?
I thought it was gonna be like Astro Boy for some reason. Like, you know what I mean? Like one of the characters
by the same guy. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I think I might have pulled Chandler. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I pulled that out of my ass.
You convinced me, bro. Yes, let it be.
Oh yeah. Someone should look that up after the episode.
Yeah, we should.
I'm not going to. Someone should.
I'm gonna forget. So
I'm gonna forget.
Scout reminder.
Scott's the goat.
Yeah. Scout got it. Scout got it.
He's still staring at me.
All right,
bro.
Chandler, you ready?
He's still there. Yes, I am ready.
3, 2, 1. Sky.
What
have you been watching? We did so good there. It was almost as if we did not skip last week at all. That's so great.
Yes.
Let's go.
So what we watching a little smaller this week, but I think it has an absolute banger in it. But first, I'm gonna start off with me and Lily are on the finale of Game of Thrones. We have one episode left, so she's been gone the last couple of days, so I haven't watched it, or so it would have been watched by this point. But I watched one episode of Scooby-Doo. It was awesome. And then I watched a movie called Lost in Starlight on Netflix.
Is that a Lily movie? Is that a Lily movie?
No, I picked it.
Oh, damn.
It was so incredibly good. Like, it's an animated movie. And I honestly think for me, it might have been up there with the likes of A Silent Voice. It was so good. It might be my
design.
It might be my second favorite that I've seen. And it might just be recency bias because I just watched it. But it was just so good. It was like I was debating on going to like a Slice of Life or something, just like as a little change. And I think this movie completely filled the void, quote unquote, or urge to watch one of those. It was so nice to see, and some of the parts didn't feel like super like natural. Maybe to some people it did, but for the most part, it felt like their progression was pretty natural. I think it was pretty sad too, and overall, it just looks really good too. Like like everything around is like it's shockingly like very, very, very pretty looking throughout like majority of this movie. So
Shocking.
that was my quote unquote banger that I watched, and then I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals and a good amount of Minecraft with that as well. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Lost in Starlight. Great movie, great
I
movie.
googled it. The reviews look great. The movie looks actually beautiful. I do agree with you on that. However, this guy's nose is weird. I don't.
The nose is weird. That's the only thing that looked a little off to me the entire time, but I got over
His
it.
nose is really weird. I don't like that.
You should listen to it.
It looks
No,
good.
you not listen to it. You should. I would recommend watching it. It has a banger song in it.
It does look good.
It almost made me cry like 3 times, but I was like next to Lily, so I couldn't let
You were
that
like,
happen.
I have to man up. I have to lock in.
Yeah, I had to focus up. Yeah,
That's fair.
I couldn't be caught lacking. I couldn't be caught lacking with somebody else. If it was just me, oh my goodness,
That's fair. Me
It
and
was
you
good.
cry together.
I refuse. I can't.
Is that everything, Skylar? Is that all what we watching this week?
Yeah, it was a little shorter this week.
Yeah, no
I did some
worries.
extra studying.
We're all good. You guys excited for Captain America? He's the bird. Chandler, you've seen it. Two of the 3 podcast members have not seen it. 2 of the 3 podcast members are very excited to watch it. They are not the same 2 out of the 3.
Wait, what?
Someone out there got that. It's okay. You guys are both really excited to watch it, and me and Skylar haven't seen it. So those are the 2 out of the 3. Am I right, Sky? You're really excited. This is
Dude, I
on your
am
top excited to watch list.
I am pumped. It is
pumped.
saved on Lily's Disney account as watch in a couple days. So yes,
Oh yeah, that means he's excited.
I'm going with the expectation this movie is like a straight 10 out of 10 because that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in. I've seen a ranking where they were like, this is a pretty good one out of all of the Phase 4 or 5 Marvel movies. This is actually not that bad. So I'm going in that this is as good as Captain America: The First Avenger. I'm very excited to see this one. Chandler.
Yeah,
what-
I think my initial ranking is going to be Captain America: The First Avenger. Well, Captain America: The First Avenger, the 4th one, the 3rd one, Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but very big gap between 3rd one and
3 and
Winter
4.
Soldier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. Chandler agrees. Chandler, are you excited to
What do you mean?
rewatch? Are you excited to
What do you
rewatch?
mean by big gap?
Chandler, are you really excited?
like-
Chandler, are you excited to
One,
watch?
2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Chandler, are you super excited to watch the Bird movie again?
I'm so ecstatic, I might take a nap during it.
That's
I'm like that energized.
he's that energized. That's crazy. That's a great joke, man. That tickled me right there. I really love that. All right, we'll stop being around the bush. We'll get Coral's out. Everyone have him. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, Civil War better than Captain America: Winter Soldier. Final answer.
Easily, of course. Fuck you, Chandler. All right, we'll see you guys next week with the Bird movie.